Hey you guys, it's Show TTC Bella, and I'm coming at you with a week 5 update. Yes, week 5. That was quick. It went very quick. It's not, I wouldn't say it's much of an update. Or I'm having pregnancy symptoms because I'm still on the IVF medication. But then I would say, yeah, no. Oh, my skin looking kind of good, you know. But let me get back to the subject. I am having frequent urination. I'm having excess saliva in my mouth. I'm very, very gassy, and I'm having nausea. Gatorade is my best friend. It is 9 o'clock at night, and this is like my 6th bottle of Gatorade and my 4th bottle of water. I try to flood my body with plenty of Gatorade. And that's pretty much symptoms, like I said, but I don't chalk that up to symptoms because, like I said, I'm still on IVF medication. A couple of you guys asked me about CNY fertility and what did I do to make my cycle successful. And I don't want to sugarcoat shit. I'm not here to sugarcoat shit. I'm not here to tell you I did something magical and miraculous, because I didn't change my diet before. I didn't exercise. I didn't lose weight. I didn't take supplements. I did absolutely nothing. I did start on vitamin D and prenatal vitamins, but I started on it a week before I started my IVF cycle. So I can't say the supplements helped, because they didn't. It takes longer than a week for supplements to even get through in your system and actually alter anything, change a hormone or your levels or anything like that. I was severely vitamin D deficient. Like I said, I'm 5 weeks. I started this. I started the IVF. I started the vitamin D a week before, or a couple of days before my IVF cycle. So I would say I was on it a month and a half, or from then to now. So I wouldn't chalk it up for my IVF cycle working because of the supplements I was on. So I'm not gonna bullshit y'all with that. Pre-transfer, I didn't do anything special. I didn't do yoga. I didn't meditate. I didn't drink any special teas. I didn't do anything. After transfer, I did absolutely nothing, you guys. I didn't do anything. Before transfer, I did do 1 massage. I did PRP. Like I said, that's when they take your blood. They draw your blood. They put it in a serum separating tube. That's the tube that got the gel at the bottom. They spin it in the centrifuge. They separate the red blood cells from the plasma. They take your plasma and they take it in, put it in a catheter, and they shoot it into your uterus. And it's supposed to enrich your lining, help your lining build. For any of you guys who have poor lining, PRP, I highly recommend it. That was my issue. That was one of the reasons why I was not able to go back to Mexico and do a frozen embryo transfer, because I could never get my lining past 7 millimeters. I did do an HCG wash. An HCG wash is when they take HCG, what women usually trigger with, but I didn't trigger with that. And they took it with the PRP. They mixed it together and they shot it into my uterus, and I laid down for 20 minutes. And this was like 48 hours before my transfer. And that's pretty much all I did. So this cycle, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I went into this cycle with I don't give a fuck attitude. If it work, it work. If it don't, it don't. It's in God's hands. There's no miraculous food out there I'm going to eat. There's no amount of medication I'm going to take. There's no amount of exercising I'm going to do that's going to make this work. If God wanted to work, it's going to work. If he doesn't see me fit for it to work, it won't work. I also went into this cycle with a me attitude. Last cycle, it was me and Steve, me and Steve. The first IVF cycle was like me and Steve, me and Steve. I need Steve. I need his support. I need him to be here. I want him to be here for transfer. I want him to be here for retrieval. In this cycle, I was like, I don't give a fuck if he's there. This is my baby. I want this baby. And if he's there, he's there. If he's not, he's not. And you know what? He couldn't be there because he had to work. And, he had to stay home and take care of the kids. And, you know, I think that because I didn't expect him to be there, my stress levels were not high. I wasn't stressing. I wasn't stressed that, oh, he's not there and I need him to be there. I just was like, fuck it. If it work, it work. If it don't, it don't. And I will try again if I see fit. If I don't see fit, I won't try again. And that was just it. Let me see. Some of you guys asked me, did I believe it worked from the jump? No, I did not believe it worked. I even told my sister, Patrice Walker, this shit did not work. I'm talking about like 2 days after the transfer. I was like, this did not work. Like, I wasted my freaking money. This did not work. And, you know, she constantly, every step of the way was like, stop saying that. It worked. I know it worked. She knew it worked before I did. You know, after transfer, let me back up. Before transfer, they gave you a paper and they say no perfume, no lotion, no deodorant the day of transfer. I did everything they told me not to do. I put on my Sunday's best. I put deodorant under my arms. I put lotion on. I put perfume on. I mean, I did everything. I took off my wig, greased my scalp. Everything they told me not to do, I did. And it was just like, the first cycle, I didn't put on no deodorant. I didn't put on no lotion. I put a hair tie on my head. Like, I didn't gel down my edges. I just was like very cautious. I wore baggy t-shirt, sweatpants, regular sneakers. This cycle, I put on my fitted jeans. I put on my tank top shirt. Like, I did what made me feel good that day. And I was just like, in my head, I was thinking to myself, when I got pregnant with my other kids, I didn't stop putting deodorant on. I didn't stop putting lotion on. I didn't stop doing this. I didn't stop doing that. So I'm not going to do that now. I know it was against medical advice. I should have listened, but I didn't. You know what I mean? After my transfer, and listen, what I'm saying worked for me. So don't spend thousands of dollars on an IVF cycle and fucking be putting deodorant under your arm and soaking your body with perfume. I'm just telling you that I didn't listen. And I got my BFP. This is what worked for me, but what worked for me might not work for you. After my transfer, I did have a hot cup of tea. That was it. I went home, back to the hotel. I had me a cold ham and cheese sandwich. I had me a Gatorade cold, straight out the fridge. The only thing I had hot was a cup of oodles and noodles for dinner and a cup of oodles and noodles for breakfast. Other than that, I didn't go out of my way to make sure I kept my feet warm. I didn't go out of my way to make sure I kept my belly warm. I didn't do any of that. It was just like, I need to not stress about, oh God, is my feet cold? Oh God, is my belly cold? Oh, like, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to just live. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to live, and I wanted to feel like, if this works, okay. If it don't, okay. And I didn't want to stress. And I really did not stress this cycle. I did not stress this cycle. I did have doubts. But the moment I had doubts, just that quick, Patrice was like, let me tell you something, bitch. You spent too much money to be having doubts. And I was always talking her ear off. So she wasn't even trying to hear that. So, you know, I appreciate her for that. A couple of y'all reached out to me and asked me, did I have any symptoms? From cycle days, from 2 days past transfer to about 4 to 5 days past transfer, I had cramping so bad. There we go, gas. I had cramping so bad to the point where I had to call out of work. I couldn't go to work. I had cramping from the front to the back. And you guys know what I'm talking about. I had cramping, lightning bolt cramps from the front to the back to the point where I had to call Dr. Kiltz. And we pretty much, you know, said that he pretty much thought it was an infection. He thought it was an infection. Pretty much this cycle was a bust. I have an infection. I'm cramping. The cycle didn't work. I'm cramping severe. I'm talking about severely to the point where I had to put a heating pad on my back and my stomach because I was cramping so bad. Had to take hot showers. I did not get any bleeding. No breakthrough bleeding or implantation bleeding. I did get bleeding, but it was like a day or two after transfer, and I don't chalk that up to be implantation bleeding, because I'm figuring I was just bleeding because they inserted the catheter in me to get the 2 embryos in, and that's it. Like, so I don't chalk that up as implantation bleeding, because it was like 1 or 2 days after I did my transfer. Some of you guys asked me, what day did I transfer? Was it fresh? Was it frozen? And when did I get my BFP? I transferred a day 2, day 3s. I got my BFP 6 days, 5.5 to 6 days after transfer. And I say 5.5 because I did test. I started testing 4 days after transfer. Don't judge me. But I started testing 4 days after transfer. And day 5, I was in the light. I was sending pictures to Patrice. Like, bitch, I see a line. And then day 6, I definitely seen a line. I knew it was there. And I also, what I was doing, I was taking OPKs. If you've been on this journey long enough, anyone knows that OPKs will show you're pregnant before a home pregnancy test will. If you know you're not ovulating and you're damn near looking like you're going to surge, either your LH balance is off or you are pregnant. So, you know, I did OPK, and the OPK, when I first took it on cycle day, 4 days past transfer, it was completely blank, and then it started getting darker and darker and darker. And by the time we got to, I'm lying, 2 days after my transfer, I started OPKing. By the time we got to day 4, that thing was like blazing, like the control line was the same as the test line. And then day 5, it was like at its peak, like I looked like I was ovulating. So I kind of knew. I knew, what else? Let me see. I mean, I don't know, you guys, like, everything went so quick. Everything went really, really, really quick. One of you guys asked me about the whole CNY process. I don't know what y'all want to know, but what I will say is that CNY is a very popular fertility clinic. So if you expect to get in there and get an appointment, you need to call ASAP, because their appointments are all the way booked up until next year, 2020. So if you expect to get into them and you want to get into them, call them, get in. If they give you an appointment for 2020, do not be discouraged, because you can always ask them, can you be on their cancel list? If they place you on the cancel list, if somebody cancels an appointment, let's just say for December, October, whenever, they will call you and say, hey, you had an appointment for March 2020. Would you like to be put in for December 2019? So I would say get your foot in the door, get in there. Someone also asked me, is a phone consult better than a face-to-face? I say face-to-face is better. I was able to do blood work right then and there. They notified me that my hormones was, you know, how my hormones was. And it was a great deal of a help that I was there in front of them having my appointment done, because, I mean, like I said, my appointment was May 13th. The moment I had my period, I started, because I did my blood work with them right then and there. Someone asked me about doing blood work and the blood work that's needed. Okay, so all of your blood work can come back normal. Your FSH, your LH, your luteinized, whatever. But if your AMH, and this is what was told to me, I'm not a doctor, so don't come at me if I didn't call you. But if your AMH, if you did not have your, when you did your whole hormone panel, if you did not do your AMH, then anything else that came back normal is irrelevant. Because I've seen women, and I've spoke to women who all their hormones came back good, their tubes are open, and they say, oh yeah, I'm healthy, I can get pregnant, but then they didn't do their AMH, and then come to find out they have low AMH, like their egg reserve is shitty. So what I do recommend is definitely, whether you go for IVF or not, make sure AMH is in there. Make sure you check your thyroids, because that's a big thing. Make sure you check your vitamin D. They stressed to me about my vitamin D deficiency. They stressed it. Just make sure you have the right blood work, and just don't automatically assume because your FSH and your LH is right on the certain cycle days, that hey, I'm healthy enough to get pregnant, because it's way more to that. Make sure your cholesterol is good, your blood pressure is good, you're not a diabetic. I mean, anything could affect the fact that you can't get pregnant. Along this journey, we found out Steve is in his mid-40s. I ain't gonna shout him out, put him on home front, but he's in his mid-40s, and we did, more testing. We did testing on me, because I've been pregnant by Steve a total of 4 times. And, the only thing that was ever altered was the fact that I had my tubes tied. So we never thought the fact that we can't get pregnant was due to Steve, because Steve didn't change. Or nothing was altered on Steve. Come to find out, doing his semen analysis, with his diet, his age, his weight, his sperm dies before it gets to the egg. So that was our situation. That was the reason why we wasn't getting pregnant, is because his sperm would tire before it even reached the egg, and therefore it couldn't fertilize anything, because it was working too hard to get to it. Steve, like I said, Steve is in his late 40s. And they basically said the only way we're able to have kids is if he changes his diet, lose weight, and he would have to take Clomid. I've been married for 13 years. Steve, I've never seen Steve take a pill, not even for a headache. He's not going to change his diet. Steve is 6'4", 267 pounds. Brother's not changing his diet. And he's not going to exercise. Steve is just not going to exercise. I mean, it's not there for him. He's not going to do it. So my only choice was to say, hey, let's do IVF. It was too much on both of us. We both wanted a baby. We was both getting tired out of trying. And, we were way past the point of pointing fingers on, you're the reason, I'm the reason, you're the reason, I'm the reason. We were way past that. We've been married for 13 years. At some point, you have to say, you know what, neither one of us is the fault. We want this. Let's do what we have to get to this point where we are holding a happy, healthy baby. So, let me see. Another person asked me, am I going to, if I ever had a C-section, and what was I going to do? I've had 2 C-sections. My main goal is to have a vaginal birth. That's what I would like to do. Can I say it will happen? I don't know. But I am working with a GYN now who specializes in VVACs. And when I go Tuesday, because my first GYN appointment is Tuesday, and then I go back to CNY Fertility on Wednesday. As long as my C-section scar, when they do the ultrasound, looks good, and throughout my pregnancy it doesn't thin, then he's okay with me inducing me and doing letting me do a vaginal birth and stuff like that. But if it does thin out, if it looks like it could rupture or anything like that, he's opposed to it. And I understand that we don't want to die trying to have a baby, or I don't want to die trying to have a baby. Let me see. I don't know, you guys. Oh, I just told my mom today. And as you guys, whoever followed my journey, know that my mom didn't know that we was going through this journey. And I didn't want to tell her, because I felt like she would be too judgmental. And, at this time in your journey, you don't need anyone judging you. You just need support. You need a shoulder to lean on. And that's it. And, I told her today that I was pregnant. And she was like, okay, now I'm going to have 5 grandkids. And then I was like, whoa, wait a minute. It could be 2. And she was like, okay, so I have, 6 grandchildren from you. So she was very supportive. And if I knew that her response was going to be that positive, I would have been told her, because I needed that support. I needed that verification, that confirmation from my mom. You know what I mean? Like, I needed that. Don't have a bump yet. I don't know if I said that before, but my face has cleared up a lot. As you can see, when I was going through my IVF cycle, I'm talking about like a whole face full of acne, but you can see where the bumps were, and they're starting to clear up. My face is getting real good. My hair was like thinning. My edges, I'm talking about on fleek. My edges are looking good. When I started my IVF cycle, I weighed 169. I'm 162 now. I don't know, you guys. Like, I'm just enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. We all want a good outcome. We all want to hold a healthy baby, whether it be boy or girl. But I'm just enjoying every moment, and I'm going to try to live and enjoy every moment, good, bad, or indifferent. And I am going to try to keep you guys updated on this journey. It's just hard. It's really, you know, in the beginning when I first started doing this IVF journey, I want to say I was kind of naive and innocent in the same breath, because I just knew we was going to get it. I just knew that it's been 2 years since I had my tubal reversal, and it's just, I lost so much of myself to the point where I was that outgoing, outspoken shell to I kind of hid under a rock because I felt so defeated. You know what I mean? I just felt very, very defeated. I felt less of a woman. I felt broken. I felt like I didn't have the answers and I wanted all the answers. And this journey will humble you. It will definitely humble you. And I feel very humbled and I feel very blessed. And I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone, and I want to thank those of you that I did talk to that I kind of hid away from or backed away from. But it's like I needed to figure out who I was. I had to figure out who I was. And, you know, I couldn't be a friend of myself, let alone somebody else at the point that I was going through in my life. You know, and everybody that I met on my IVF journey and my TTC journey, I want to let you guys know that y'all are a blessing. Y'all will always have a part in my life because y'all did play a part in my journey. Whether it be you following me on YouTube, you commenting, calling me, texting me, see how I'm doing. I really, really appreciate that. Also, I want to thank Genesis for the shout out. Thank you so much, sis, for the shout out. And, you know, congratulations on your 2 bundles of joy. Make sure you rest up and grow those babies. I want to thank Vakosha. Congratulations on your BFP. And I also want to thank Tanika TTC. Thank you for the shout out. Much baby dust your way, sis. Okay, you guys. I'm going to leave it at that. The next time you'll be seeing me is with my first ultrasound. I promise I will not let you guys miss that. And I'm going to try to at least do 1 update a week. Love you guys. Bye.